Hey, it's Christopher the Bronze Age Nerd. I just got some Signature Series comics back from CGC. Let's unbox them. So I just got back my Chris Claremont Signature Series comics that I sent off. I sent off 5 comics to get graded and signed by Chris Claremont. If you're not familiar with how I do this, I always do a preview video where I've uploaded detailed photos for you guys to check out and grade my comics and see what you think they are. And I also show my grade too that I predict them to be. And then we kind of go over and compare here in this video. After the video, I will be doing a bit of a price analysis to show you what these comics might be worth. Signatures make that a little hard to determine, but we'll do our best. I do want to point out that I already saw one grade from this submission. Usually when I do these, it's a surprise to me, just like it is to you guys. However, I did see the X-Men 100 grade. I'll say right away I was right on the grade, which is really awesome to see. Hopefully that kind of continues as a trend for the rest of these. So let's get right to it. Okay, first up. So this is the one I saw. So I'll keep the grade covered for you guys. But it is X-Men 100. And he signed right over the logo there. That's pretty cool. And I got a 6.0. So pretty sweet. That's exactly what I predicted on this one. So far, we're off to a good start. Let you kind of check it out a little bit closer. Okay, so from here on out, it's all a surprise to me. So this is X-Men 120, and I predicted this was going to be an 8.0. So let's see how we did. 7.5, so pretty close. All right, and same signature placement. Probably going to see that on all these, I would imagine. So X-Men 120 here is the first appearance of Alpha Flight in Cameo. It is kind of the more expensive of the X-Men 120, X-Men 121 Alpha Flight appearances for the time being. So that's pretty sweet. So it's definitely one that I was already very happy to have in my collection, and it's really awesome to have it signed by Chris Claremont. All right. And then we have the iconic X-Men 141. This is the Days of the Future Past Part 1. And like the signature placement there, that's pretty good. And this one I predicted was going to be a 7.0. Holy crap. 9.4. Wow. That's pretty cool. Didn't expect that. Damn. Yeah, I think if you go back and watch my video, you'll be a little surprised at that too if you haven't seen it already, but that's very cool. Cool. Not gonna argue with that. What can I say? Sometimes the CGC gods giveth and sometimes they taketh away. That time they gaveth. Pretty cool. All right, so let's get to the last Uncanny X-Men issue that I submitted for this particular submission for the Chris Claremont signing. And this one's a big one right now. It is X-Men 221, first Mr. Sinister in full. And this one I said was going to be a 9.4. 9.4. So right on that one. Cool. And this is a newsstand too, which is pretty sweet. So definitely awesome to see that. All right, and last but definitely not least, we have the best there is at what he does, the Wolverine himself, the old canonical head. Not Wolverine 1 from the limited series. We actually have the Wolverine 1 from his ongoing there. That's a very interesting signature placement and color for this one. You imagine he probably signed quite a few of these. So yeah, he went with the let's hide it in the pile of bodies approach. I predicted a 9.0 on this, and we got a 9.4. Right on. That's really awesome. There's a couple pretty pleasant surprises in there. That's really cool. So that is really cool. Those are some overwhelmingly awesome grades. I'm really excited with how some of those came back. Some of those grade bumps really surprised me. If you look at the close-up photos, I'm a little surprised that they got the grade they got. Generally speaking, it worked out in my favor though. So pretty awesome stuff. And I'm really excited to have those. I'm not sure what I'm doing with these comics yet. I'm a huge X-Men fan, so a lot of these I just kind of wanted signed for my own collection. Now, stay tuned. I will be doing some voiceover stuff at the end of this, so my beautiful face is going to go away. You don't get to see the beard anymore, but you will hear me talk about what some of these comics could be worth, and also the cost I paid for everything versus what it's worth, and if that was worth it. So check it out. All right, so let's dive into some of the analysis of the pricing for these comics. A couple of caveats. These are signature series books. It's hard to price them the same way that you would Blue Label or other types of labels from CGC because the information just isn't as readily available as it is for the Blue Labels. Now, there is a way to pull signature series information from Go Collect for recent sales in their FMV for signature series books. However, it does require a premium membership, and I don't have one, and I didn't want to buy one just for these videos, so I'm going to have to use the Blue Label FMV. The other thing I did, though, to try to balance out the pricing was look at recent eBay sold auctions and buy it nows. And I also did the trick where you view the code on accepted offers so you can see the actual sale price. So I do have values for most of these books, at least 5. The toughest one we'll start with is X-Men 100. Again, I predicted that it was going to be a 6.0, and it was a 6.0, which is great. I bought this book right before the submission at one of my local comic shops for $30. Its Go Collect FMV at a 6.0 is $120. And this was the one auction where I had a hard time finding a lot of 6.0s to go off of. So what I did is I went anywhere from 5.5 to 7 to get some decent sample size for the auctions. But if I average those 5 most recent sales, we get a recent eBay average of $156. The other thing is all these books I had cleaned and pressed at CGC headquarters. I did not clean and press them myself or have a third party do it other than CGC or CCS. And all of these books I got custom labels on. So because of the Chris Claremont signature series fee that CGC is charging, the clean and press, and the label, each one of these books would have been $95 for total submission fees. So that's just going to be a constant for all of these. Basically, this book I think is going to climb as the X-Men continue to do better. I think this issue is kind of overlooked. It's an important anniversary style centennial issue. It's also the old X-Men versus the new X-Men, which is pretty cool. And it's the first fastball special, which is kind of neat for a Wolverine key. Overall, I think this book has more room to grow. However, this one probably is going to remain in my personal collection unless I pick up another copy of X-Men 100. All right, so let's move on to X-Men 120. X-Men 120 is the first appearance of most of Alpha Flight. 121 is the first full appearance. This is an important note. However, historically, this book has done a little bit better than X-Men 121. So this book, I predicted that we would get an 8.0. This is the only grade in the submission I got that was lower than what I expected, and it was a 7.5. So not too bad. The purchase price on this book, I bought it about a year ago for $65. The Go Collect FMV on this book, again, a Blue Label FMV, is $90. And this one I was able to pull 5 recent 8.0 sales from eBay, not 7.5s, but 8.0s. And at an 8.0, it would be worth $128. And again, the same CGC fees apply to this book as well, $95. For now, this is a personal collection book. A lot of the X-Men stuff is going to stay in my personal collection. But let's move on. So this is one of the comics from my personal collection that I've had for decades. This is Uncanny X-Men 141. This is part 1 of the Days of the Future Past. It's an iconic classic cover that's been homaged and cover swiped many times, and a classic storyline that was adapted into a Fox movie, of course, adapted in the X-Men the Animated Series. I purchased this book for $5 approximately. I don't know that is exactly right. It may have been like 10, but I bought it a long time ago, so it's really hard to remember. I wasn't tracking prices back then for comics I bought. I bought it when I was a teenager. I predicted this was going to be a 7.0, and this comic came back a 9.4, which is incredible. The only thing I can think for this book is the press must have really helped it out quite a bit. The Go Collect FMV on a blue label for this book is $150. I was able to pull recent eBay sales for 5 copies in a 9.4. One of them was a best offer. That average is $218. I do want to point out there was also a signature series sale of a newsstand, so that's very relevant, and it was signed by Chris Claremont. So that one sold back in February on the 4th for $240. Considering my purchase price on this book, no matter which way you slice it, I did pretty well on this one. So here we have a pretty hot book right now. A lot of people specking on this character. This is Uncanny X-Men 221, widely accepted as the first full appearance of Mr. Sinister. And this one I was right on. I predicted this would be a 9.4, and it did come back as a 9.4. This is a newsstand copy, which is worth pointing out. And I did buy this copy many years ago for $5 approximately. This is another one that's been in my collection since before I tracked prices, but I know I wasn't paying high dollar for any X-Men book at this point in my life when I bought this, so it would have been just a few dollars in a bin somewhere. The Go Collect FMV on this comic in a blue label is $140. I was able to pull some recent 9.4 eBay sales and get an average. Couple caveats. The most recent sale, the SS stands for Signature Series, and also the one on March 19th was a newsstand. So keep in mind, oh, by the way, the Go Collect FMV for this one too is also for a direct edition, because for some reason they don't have a newsstand FMV attached to this comic that I could find. The average for eBay on this one, if you take into consideration the Signature Series and the newsstand, which may be a little skewed, depends on how you want to look at it, would be $225. So again, considering the purchase price on this, I did pretty well. I do have another copy of a direct edition of 221. I paid a little bit more for it, like maybe 20 to 25, I think. Still not too bad. And I will be submitting that one at some point as well. I just haven't gotten around to it. All right, last but not least, we're moving on to a Wolverine comic. This is Wolverine 1 from his ongoing series. I predicted this was going to be a 9.0, and we got a 9.4 back for this one, which is great. I purchased this comic for $10 back when I was a teenager. The blue label Go Collect FMB for this comic is $90 in this grade. Recent eBay sales average $167. There is one condition on that, which is the sale from March 31st was a signature series, was Chris Claremont. And that one went for $235. So just kind of worth noting that. That is part of what I included in my average. So I'm including all these numbers and all the dates of the sales, so you guys can kind of make your own determinations on what you think the value should be. When I did find a signature series that seemed applicable, I did throw it in. But if you want to exclude those, you can easily do the math yourself and figure out what you think the comic's worth as a blue label. But again, all mine are signed by Chris Claremont. So, all right. So I'm curious to see down below in the comments how you all think I did. Again, most of these are more personal collection books than they are really for speculation and for selling, although there's a really good chance that at least probably about 2 of these will get sold, especially the X-Men 221, considering I have another copy of it. If it helps get me towards some other X-Men keys, then I might consider, selling a couple of these other ones too. Thank you so much for watching. I just want to remind everybody, hey, read comics every day.